Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Jack's Business Talk. Today we have a special guest, Trey Better 99, who says he's going to get his first video up before December 31st, which the pressure is monumentally building. You have only 29 hours left from the time of
It will be
recording.
there. It will be up. I've recorded it, I think, 6 times already just yesterday. So I think I've got it just barring no hiccups, literally, or anything like that. We'll be good to go.
So go ahead and plug your channel before I forget.
Sure. It's at Instagram, Trade Better 99, and YouTube, Trade Better 99.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about part two of the series of different horrible things that have happened in Pennsylvania and how we went about recovering from it. We're going to talk about Centralia and Graffiti Highway. I'll be honest, I feel like we're kind of doing a series backwards. Like we should have started with what is going to be the fourth video and ended with 3 Mile Island. So
That's
anyway,
okay. Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, it was a great way to start. And so, yeah, I know nothing about Centralia. So it was at least great to start with 3 Mile Island because I kind of knew it. These are items
Mhm.
I don't know at all. So I'm excited.
So for those of you who don't know, when I try to read out in public, I turn into a stuttering machine gun. So to avoid all that, I took my article and shoved it into an AI, in which we're going to go black screen for a minute, and it's going to talk. Uh, what do you want to name it today? The AI.
AI.
Yeah, AI is now being
Oh,
named AI.
we'll call it what? What's it called? The uh, the narrator.
The narrator. Cynthia named the female one, Sarah.
Ooh, I like it.
Oh, let's try this. Here we go.
Centralia, Pennsylvania is a ghost town known for its underground coal fires that have burned for 60 years and are expected to continue for another 250 years. These fires have caused sinkholes and released poisonous gas, leading to the town's abandonment. Once a thriving community where families lived for generations, Centralia now stands mostly deserted, with smoke-filled streets and few traces of its past. Centralia's history dates back to the early 1800s. The land was originally owned by Robert Morris, a veteran of the American Revolution and a signer of the Declaration of Independence. After Morris went bankrupt, the land was developed with the construction of the Reading Road in 1810. Mining began soon after, and in 1831, Jonathan Faust built the Bull's Head Tavern, sparking further settlement in the area. The town grew as mining cabins were established, but the fires eventually led to its decline and current ghost town status. After being purchased by the Locust Mountain Coal and Iron Company, Centralia was developed and renamed by engineer Alexander Ray in the mid-19th century. Originally called Bull's Head, the town was renamed Centralia due to postal conflicts with another town named Centerville. Centralia saw a significant influx of Irish Catholic immigrants in the 1850s, leading to the establishment of St. Ignatius Church in 1868. The town's men worked in mines, prayed at St. Ignatius, and socialized at the Bull's Head Tavern, which was also a meeting place for the secret society, the Molly Maguires. In 1868, Alexander Ray was murdered by members of the Molly Maguires, and the perpetrators were eventually hanged in 1877. Despite this dark event, Centralia thrived and reached its peak population of nearly 2,800 people by the late 1800s. The town featured numerous amenities, including a church, schools, a rectory, a convent, trolley lines, saloons, hotels, shops, theaters, and a firehouse. Railroad Street, which ran through the town, was part of the Lehigh Valley Railroad. Today, Centralia is known for its underground coal fires, which began in the 1960s and have led to the town's abandonment. However, the town's history remains rich and well-remembered through its surviving landmarks and historical records. The Lehigh Valley Railroad, significant for its 2 tracks through the mountainous area, service Centralia, indicating high traffic importance for both passengers and freight. The street followed the railroad right-of-way, with the depot and telegraph poles marking historical spots. In December 1908, a fire destroyed over 40 buildings in Centralia, leaving 150 people homeless. Despite rebuilding, world wars and the Great Depression hit the mining industry hard, causing population decline. In 1918, an influenza outbreak continued, but they were unsuccessful. A significant project to dig a trench was abandoned due to the fire spreading too deep underground. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, residents began suffering from health issues related to the fire, and the state's attempts to create a barrier using fly ash ultimately failed. In 1977, a new municipal building was constructed, but the community was divided over whether to stay or relocate. A Unity Day was organized to unite the town, but optimism waned when the true cost of extinguishing the fire was revealed to be nearly $2 billion in today's money. In 1979, John Coddington, owner of a gas station, noticed the underground tanks heating up dangerously, leading to the station's closure. By 1980, large air vents were installed to manage the gas release from the fire, but this also allowed the fire to spread faster. Residents suffered from carbon dioxide poisoning, and the town struggled with frequent inspections but little action. In the early 1980s, the government began offering residents compensation to relocate, but the offers were often inadequate. By 1992, most properties were claimed by eminent domain, and evictions resumed in 2009. Some residents believed the state was motivated by potential mining rights. The town continued to decline, and St. Ignatius Church closed in 1995 and was demolished in 1997. The fire beneath Centralia is expected to burn for another 250 years, and many former residents suffered from long-term health issues due to the poisonous gases. Nature has largely reclaimed Centralia, with many streets disappearing under vegetation. Once home to St. Peter's and Paul Russian Orthodox Church, the church was torn down in 1986 due to the fire. By 1994, the deterioration of Highway Route 61 led to a new bypass, with the old section becoming known as Graffiti Highway before being buried in 2020 due to safety concerns. Nearby Burnsville, once a mining town and abandoned due to the mine fire, had a small population, and the last home was torn down in 1996. The only significant structure remaining is a shrine to the Blessed Virgin Mary, maintained by the Riley family. Centralia's fire station still serves the nearby communities, and the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary Ukrainian Catholic Church continues to hold services. Many buildings in Centralia were demolished, and streets are overgrown, with preservationists planting apple trees. White smoke still escapes from cracks in the ground 2 miles east of the town, indicating the ongoing underground fire. The story of Centralia, marked by its development, tensions with the Molly Maguires, and the persistent underground fire, is a tale of resilience and loss that deserves remembrance. The town is in its final stages of being wiped off the map, but its history remains significant.
Wow. That's one of those where I have heard of a town that was always on fire because of a fire starting in the mine. I didn't realize that was Centralia.
So a few things, because I told it to summarize it just because the article was so long. It's originally like 12 minutes long, so I told the AI to summarize it down. But a few things it missed. That's why you saw me jotting down notes. So I want to make sure I was speaking correctly on a few of them. But so people were obviously getting carbon monoxide poisoning because what happened was they during community days, what it missed in the thing I wrote is that they were doing a giant garbage fire, which was a giant pit that they would say back in that time frame, and they would burn the garbage. Well, it was close enough, and it hit a what do you call it, a coal what do you call it, vein start caught, and that's how the fire started, was there, which then led down into
Wow.
the mines, which then spread like crazy. Now, um, Brynisville was the worst impacted out of all the towns. It was instantly shut down. You can't find any real remains of it anymore anyway. That's where it's talking about the Mother Mary and stuff.
Right.
Um, as of 2023, there's still 4 people left in Centralia. So it's not quite a ghost town. It lied. It's not quite a ghost town. I never said ghost town, but it's
Almost.
close. Um, at some point, I forget when, just because it's like one of those things I forget where I saved it onto my computer. But it's either D40 or D60 plane crash, like less than 2 miles out of the city before the fire and all that stuff. Sometime after the stabbing and before the fire, there was a plane crash. But other than that, oh, and the fire is headed towards Ashland, PA. But Ashland, PA doesn't really see anything. Like they'll see like different holes and stuff where there's steam coming out and it's super hot coming out. But
Oh wow.
it's getting closer to the town over the years, but it's not like there's still people there. Like I was just looking, there's a subway there, and like it's still a modern day town. So that, and
Oh wow.
I think that's all I have as far as notes I took that it missed.
I mean, that's impressive though. I mean, it's funny thinking back to the 1800s, 2800 was a lot of people in a small town, I guess, but that was it. It's really interesting because it seems like you're saying that, yeah, there's a fire here, but there's really no alarm. I mean, yeah, people are dying. The mine's on fire, but that's okay. It's it's fascinating. I mean, is this a regular thing in Pennsylvania, or is this a really one of a kind
This is
situation?
just a one of a kind thing as far as I know. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
this this town inspired what's it called? Silent Hill.
oh
Yeah,
oh wow.
yeah, this town inspired Silent Hill and all the video games and the movies and all that stuff. Yeah,
Oh wow,
that's where the idea came
I can see
from.
why.
Let's
I never
see.
knew that. I guess I always figured Dante's Inferno. Huh, wow.
No, no, it was inspired a cross between, like you said, Dante's Inferno and Centralia.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
I kind of tuned it out for a minute. Did it talk about how it closed Graffiti Highway back in 2020?
Yeah, yeah, and that's the interesting thing was, yeah, because of the how dangerous it got, and they're basically claiming eminent domain to make sure that the people don't go that way
Hmm.
anymore.
Yeah, they
So
basically been doing it for the whole town. Okay, I
yeah.
just want to make sure I covered everything. So, how does this affect real estate? Well, obviously, property values are very cheap out there. In fact, they're cheap. They're so cheap and expensive at the same time that you can't afford them. And who would want to live there? So, no,
That's a
but
great
like
list.
Bryant'sville, you can't even find anymore. So, if you're looking for a hidden market, there you go. Centralia, I
Yeah,
like I said,
it's not there.
there's like 4 places left. Ashland, PA is the closest actual town, and the real estate market. I mean, besides it basically collapsing in that area, nothing has really come of that area ever since then. And it's just the housing market basically plummeted, drug down the surrounding areas because of all the carbon monoxide. They can't pass really any inspections. That's why I'm kind of surprised to see Ashland so close, and they're just acting like nothing's even going on. But uh-oh, am I still there?
Yeah, you're still here.
Okay, it started flashing saying your internet's unstable.
Yeah, I saw yours too.
But yeah, that's why I don't like shooting videos here. But anyway, Basically, they went it depreciated the whole real estate market, and everything is basically collapsing, the ground and everything, like there's, like the video said. And yeah, so what do we learn from this? Well, Pennsylvania then afterwards decided to put into effect different things where they don't do the garbage burnings anymore. Because it it's too bad on the environment. It's, causes stuff like this to potentially happen. So they very quickly got away from doing that kind of stuff. And that's where they started doing more landfills and all that kind of stuff. Then with that being done and said, they became more strict about different activities and different stuff like that, and then started a whole new mining code stuff to make sure that the maps are all up to date, because up to that point they weren't really strict about where the maps were. Like they're like, oh well, the mine is somewhere within a mile of this. It was like, well, that's not really very useful. That was the other thing, was the mine they said was supposed to be like, I think they said like 900 yards over, and like close to like 1,000 feet or like not 1,000 feet, but I think they said like 800 feet deeper than what it was supposed to be, and here is real
Yeah.
shallow. So
Right.
so it put in the infrastructure to actually make sure that mines are keeping accurate records on what is happening with everything.
It's a good lesson. I would wonder what an insurance quote would cost out there.
I don't even know if you can get property out anywhere near there.
I could imagine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they said $2 billion in today's money to fix it. I guess I'm surprised that it took so long for it to close down all the way to 2020. I mean, having problems all the way back to the 70s. That's a I mean,
Well,
the mine's a
well, that
slow
was
burn, but man, closing everything down.
well, that's the highway. It was 2020. What was it? 95 or
Right.
96 was like the last thing to actually close. So they
Right.
played with it for how long, trying to get it to. I don't know. I don't know why the government took so long to make a decision on what they were going to do. And the other thing that kind of
Right.
the other thing is too, a lot of people were speculating that the government was trying to get the coal vein from the opposite side and save what they could,
Oh, yeah.
and get the fire to stop short, or quit stop burning as much. And they think that that was just a position of power to try and make that happen. But obviously, why would you risk machinery and billions of dollars for something that if you stick if you get an air pocket in there, it's just going to make it a million times worse?
Right.
Because they did originally try to put some air holes in there to try and let the smoke out, to try and like thinking that if you get the smoke out, maybe it'll stop burning somehow. I don't know why, but they put air holes in there to like get the smoke and stuff out of there, and it just said it made it worse.
Right. I mean, I feel like that's fire safety 101. I'd love to know what Mark the firefighter would do about this. It's like, you don't do that. You want to suffocate it. I was like, what if they put argon gas in there to kind of like, I don't know, something at least to try and smother it or suffocate it. The air hole sounds ridiculous.
It's so deep now, and it's coming out in so many places now. I don't even know if you could do anything.
Right.
Yeah, I think spray foam. Just start pumping spray foam. Just
See what happens. Yeah. It's cheaper.
just truckload after truckload of spray foam insulation.
That's the way to get rid of it. Wow. I I
Flex
mean,
seal.
it's one of those is that yeah, flex seal, there we go. If it'll stop water, it can stop a fire. Oh wow. What would I do? I mean, it's one of those it's that I mean, I would just call it a loss. It's one of those that maybe as the neighboring town, maybe I don't know how far you'd have to dig to say, hey, let's make sure that the vein doesn't go our way or anything like that. But I mean, I don't even know what that would cost to do.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, but that would probably be more what I would be looking at.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe diverting, I don't know, any major water systems down that way, pour it down that way, see what happens. But
Sorry, I was trying to talk my space heater and it decided to start talking to me.
wants to be included. Yeah.
It's funny because
Wow.
Cynthia named the AI that I use in here all the time Sarah, and I bought this like right around a couple weeks ago, and
Mhm.
they come pre-named, and you don't get to name them, and it told me that it's named Sarah. I was just like, I don't like this.
Not Sarah. Yeah. That's cool though. I don't know. I guess that'd be the question. Ask AI. What would ChatGPT do to smother the? I mean, basically going back to our conversation about Three Mile Island is like, hey, use this AI power. What would Is there a way to stop the fire? This could be a useful position for it. I don't know. That'd be something funny. I just because it's like I think about like West Virginia and parts of Virginia, which were coal mining areas as well. I mean, I've never really heard anything like that before, but I mean, West Virginia with the whole mountaintop removal, and this sounds like it's more under the mountains. So I don't know what would benefit, or what would be the best way to go after this.
I asked uh I asked ChatGPT. I'm kind of reading along here. I'll just read it verbatim.
Go for it.
The Centralia mine fire is Pennsylvania is too hot and deep to put out effectively. However, experts believe that the fire could be extinguished with a large and expensive effort. I think we already concluded that.
Right.
Some methods that could be used to put out the fire include excavating, digging out the fire, isolating the trenches of it with an excavation project, flushing with non-combustible materials. See, I told you, spray
There
foam
you go.
insulation. There you go.
There you go. I like this plan.
It's not safe for houses, so it must be good for putting out fires.
Exactly. Iron
Surface
proof logic.
sealing. I don't think that one would work. They're already finding more and more holes every year, so that one's not going to work unless you just plate steel like the
Right.
whole like 5 mile radius of it.
Ooh,
Oh,
that'd be
this one sounds
expensive.
exciting to watch. Liquid nitrogen.
Ooh,
Doesn't that sound like fun?
because that can't go wrong. Oh,
Well,
that
let's
would
just turn
be.
the world's biggest fire
Oh,
into a giant bomb.
it does. I know. Oh, wow. I feel like that's something that would happen in Terminator 2 or something like that.
I
Just
feel like that's something that's going to knock out 3 Mile Island, even though it's like 50 miles away at least.
there you go. Because that can't go wrong.
So if you want to know why we're making so many jokes about 3 Mile Island, it's because we made a video about 3 Mile Island. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch that one. And you can see why we're poking so much fun at our own videos. Just ignore
It's
the
funny
sleepy host.
because
I'm kind of glad All Nighter Hider was there to actually see that video today to know that I actually found his input and stuff. Because when I was rewatching it to edit certain bits and pieces, I was like, oh my gosh, I look absolutely horrible and like I'm bored out of my mind. Meanwhile, I was, I could have listened to him all night.
oh yeah. No, you seem mesmerized. It was like I saw that kind of dreamy look that you had. You're like, oh, this is really cool. It's like I can imagine myself in Alaska right now. I can imagine myself, catching salmon, the size
One
of
of my
a
thoughts,
freight train.
one of my thoughts was is like I feel like I'm just a few beers and a couple chainsaws short of doing this.
I like, yeah, I know that's true. I was like, ooh, this. It's like he makes it sound so romantic. It's like, oh, this would be fun. This would be the life.
Yeah, and then you go out and do this, and you're like, why did I do this to myself? I think it takes a special breed of person.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not that breed. I know that.
I would. I'm more the guy that wants to sit there with a fly rod fishing in streams.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, you ready to call this episode?
I like it.
All right. So, thank you for tuning into this episode of Jack's Business Talk.